Hello, my love, and welcome to part two of the Confidence Protocol. I'm so excited to have you here in this space with me, exploring confidence and the three pillars. Today, we are going to explore the last two pillars. So, first of all, first and foremost, always, I want to acknowledge this beautiful body of land that I'm on today. I'm really lucky and blessed here to be on Ghana land, and I just want to honour and recognise the traditional custodians of this land. May we tread lightly and feel deeply on this earth here today. And next, I want to bring you into this portal with me. I'm going to invite you to get comfy, to get rid of any distractions, to get yourself settled into your chair, your seat, as comfier as you possibly can, and start to bring your connection to breath on board. Just starting to notice how breath moves you. Maybe closing down the eyes or lowering your gaze. And starting to notice all of the thinking thoughts of your mind, and shifting your awareness and your attention up and back, just so that you can witness that and let go. Let go of any attachments, of any thoughts, and really allow breath and your body to land into this space. You're here to witness, to notice, to observe. Noticing your heart beating. Maybe noticing the sound of my voice coming into your ears and noticing how it is that you hear me. Noticing the sensation of clothing against your skin. And the way that your seat feels underneath you. And just inviting your compassionate witness, your all loving, all accepting self with a capital S, bringing them on board and just letting them land within you, beside you, however it is that they land into your being, into this space. Taking another long sleep, a long, sweet, deep breath into your belly. Holding it at the top. And then letting it go with a sigh and a nice long exhale out. And slowly starting to open your eyes and come back into this space with me. So what to expect for today's session and what we covered, just a little recap on last video. So we touched on confidence being a skill, not a trait, and the reminder that you can learn and grow into confidence, and that you can shape confidence to mean whatever the frick it means to you, which is so important. When you embrace your uniqueness, you move into the world with a flavor of confidence and magnetism that is undeniably yours. There is no one like you in this world, and that is what makes you so, so special and so attractive and so magnetic. When you freaking embrace that part of you, doors start to open, things start to unlock, you start to have a really beautiful understanding of what it is that's inside of you that's special that you can bring to the world. We also talked about what we admire most in others, and yet we decline and reject in ourselves, the golden shadow. And the same for our triggers. We allow our triggers to show us our shadows. And how we tap into our version of confidence, the 3 pillars of confidence being self-awareness and authenticity, emotional resilience and groundedness, and align action and embodiment. So we've covered number 1 in our first video, and if you haven't watched that, I recommend you go back and watch part 1 first, because it's a beautiful foundation point. Now we are going to dive into the 2nd and 3rd pillar of confidence. So grab your notepad and pen, make sure you've got the space and the time to stay with this process, and turn your phone off or put it on silent, put it in a place where you won't see it. I find out of sight, out of mind works so much for me in terms of like that instinctual urge to pick it up when I'm starting to feel like, oh, I'm going a little deep here, I'm going a little uncomfortable here. You grab your phone, and if it's not visible, it's less likely for you to grab it. Please know that you can pause this video anytime you need to go a little deeper. I also recommend that you have some music on another music streaming app or something, so that you can hit play on some music. If we're going to go into a somatic process, it's always going to amplify your experience. If you have some beautiful music, some 528 hertz or higher running in the background is always what I recommend. And we've got that compassionate witness on board. So really remembering that in this process of self-exploration, it is not going to be beneficial for you to judge or shame yourself in any way. But if that happens, just like any other part of you, we choose to witness, love, and accept that protective mechanism that has come into play. Okay, so pillar number 2, emotional resilience and groundedness. I really wanted to sink a little bit deeper into understanding what emotional resilience is all about. So how do we tap into our emotional resilience? This is when we have the capacity to hold all of our emotional sensations. And part of this is understanding that sensations of emotions can actually last no longer than 90 seconds at a time. This is if we are focusing our minds and our bodies purely on the sensation, and we're not actually feeding into the storyline that comes with it. So noticing, like, quite often when we have an emotion come up, it's based on a thought, a memory, a fear. And when we keep feeding into those thoughts, those fears, then the sensation will continue to stay there. But if we start to instead focus our attention and our awareness purely on that part of us within the body that's been activated, locate that space in the body, and really just sending our attention there, and that's expanding our capacity to hold discomfort. And when we can expand our capacity to hold discomfort, that's what emotional resilience is. And we can do that by what I've just described, actually being with the emotion, being with the sensation. But there are actually other things that you can do as well, things like ice baths, cold showers, rejection therapy, really leaning into uncomfortable emotions, experiences with curiosity, and really be willing to be bad at something, really be willing to be a learner. Like, this beginner's mind is such an empowering thing to have. Like, when you can approach something in a space of like, I don't know how to do this thing, and I'm probably going to suck at it at the start, but if I keep trying at it, I'm going to get better. That is really empowering and really, really such a beautiful way to build self-trust and self-confidence. And facing your fears is also a really great one. So fear setting is an awesome tool for this. You can just Google fear setting. It's a great practice. You can combine that with somatic therapy. Movement and nourishment are also really incredible tools for building a great foundation for self. When it comes to having a healthy body, it means that we're going to be much more likely to having a healthy mind. So looking after our bodies equals looking after our minds, and also looking after our emotions and our feelings. More things that we can do to increase and tap into our emotional awareness: choosing your thoughts. So through mindfulness, so things like meditation, things like embodied practices, increasing your ability to notice your thoughts when they're drifting, when they're shifting into fear-based thoughts, when they're reflecting and going into worry spirals, noticing, being really compassionate and forgiving with yourself, and deciding to choose a new thought. Laughter as medicine. There are so many different places where you can get your little dose of laughter from. You know, you might have comedy shows, TV shows that make you laugh. There's laugh yoga, which looks absolutely insane, but is actually so empowering. Find people that you think are funny and spend time with them. Like, seek out those places, seek out those spaces that really truly do make you laugh and make you feel really good inside. And when you are laughing, noticing that sensation in your body, that little spark of joy that's been ignited, and nurture that. Align with your core values when things feel ungrounded. So knowing what our values are from lesson 1 and coming back into them when we're feeling like we're spiraling, when we're feeling like things are a little bit out of control, coming back to your values and just checking in with yourself, like, where am I out of alignment with my values? Where can I ground myself back down into my sense of self by reconnecting to my values with intention? Connecting to a higher power really helps me a lot with emotional resilience. And it can be something as simple as going outside when I've got an emotion in my body that I'm finding it really difficult to sit with, to be with, to hold, and grounding my feet into the earth and just asking Mother Nature for her support in holding whatever it is that I'm going through. Like, hey Mama, I'm feeling this deep sadness right now and I'm scared that I won't be able to hold it alone. Can you please hold this with me? And feeling that energy shift through your body into your feet and out into the earth, and feeling held by Mama, feeling held by your higher power, whoever God you want to worship. Your higher self might be a higher power, but recognizing that faith gets us through the tough times. Leaning on your support network, your friends and family. It is so, so important to communicate and ask for help. And there is something so empowering about speaking with truth and honesty with the people that you love, sharing about the sensations and the feelings that are happening inside of your body is going to be such a connective exercise for you and your loved ones. And connect to your purpose. So knowing that there is a reason that you're here, and knowing that your purpose doesn't have to be this like life-changing or world-changing thing. Like, it could just be something so individual to you and unique to you. And lean into that, explore that, connect to that. So those are some awesome tips for emotional resilience, how we tap into our emotional resilience. And if you think of anything else, please feel free to drop a comment below. So we're going to move next into groundedness. So these two go kind of hand in hand. I think that emotional resilience really can be supported by groundedness. And what does groundedness look like? What does it mean to be grounded? It's when you are deeply in presence. And presence is really just to be within your body. It is a connection to the earth. Connection to the earth can also be noticing nature when you're standing in nature, noticing the pot plant, noticing the leaves and the intricacies and the flowers of your pot plants, or the beautiful detail on a feather. You don't have to be in the countryside to have a connection to the earth. Like, you are part of nature, and nature will find its way to connect to you, but all you need to do is slow down and take some time to observe. To be grounded also feels like to be in the moment, to really truly like be in this present moment, having this connection with someone, having this conversation with someone, or receiving this information, letting it land and noticing how it feels in your body when each thing comes through. Noticing the rise and the fall of your body with your breath. Living from a grounded state means that you will experience more pleasure, more joy, more thrills. To be grounded means that you will be more observant. You'll be noticing all of the finer intricacies and the details and the patterns or the glimmers, the things out there in the world that make you smile or make your heart skip a beat or fill you with a beautiful sensation in your body, that you feel safe, that you feel connected. To be grounded is to feel open, to be centered, to be connected to self-trust. So I'm going to explore with you some prompts really quickly. Just going to drop these in here. I recommend that you take a moment to write these down and do a little bit of somatic journaling with these questions. So the first one is, what physical sensations arise when I'm faced with self-doubt? How can I stay there and hold the sensations of self-doubt? Noticing that self-doubt is simply a protective mechanism. It is a part of you that gets activated based on fear programming or on past experiences. Knowing that it is just connected to a part of you, it is not all of you. And when you can locate that part of you inside of your body, you might be able to stay there and hold those sensations. And the next prompt is, what do I associate grounded energy with? And how can I access grounded energy within my body? So maybe going back to that last slide there when I was describing grounded energy, and anything that I missed or anything that you want to add, really elaborating on that, doing a little exploration of really like, what does that feel like inside of me when I feel truly grounded? So pause here if you want to keep writing. I encourage you to do that, and then we'll move on to the next pillar. Well, hang on, we're going to do a somatic healing exercise, of course. So we are going to drop into a sense of groundedness. So pop down your pen, make sure that you've got the space, wiggle a little bit more into your seat, start to close down your eyes. Before you do that, maybe hit play on some music in the background that's going to make you feel really comfortable and calm. Yeah, and coming back to your seat and just starting to close down your eyes and bring your awareness and your attention back to breath. And I'm going to invite you to breathe all the way down to your root, to your base, the very base of your spine. And just sending that breath, noticing that breath as it moves in and out, up and down your spine. And starting to imagine that your feet are standing on the earth. Whatever earth comes to mind for you that feels the most connected to you. Some people might see lawn or grass, some people might feel sand between their toes. You might notice the red dirt or the clay earth beneath the soles of your feet, but just starting to really send your attention and your awareness down to the soles of your feet. And imagining that you're looking down at your feet and you're seeing that earth beneath you. Noticing how it's supporting you and holding you upright. Noticing the solidness of it, the softness. Maybe scrunching up your toes and like wiggling your feet a little bit. Just really allowing yourself to be held by the earth in this vision. And I want you to call in that sensation of self-doubt that you were feeling before. Noticing the place where that lands in your body. The part of you that feels self-doubt. And breathing into that space, just starting to notice the weight of it, the color of it, the shape of it. Really letting yourself feel, hold and contain the sensation of self-doubt. Just allowing it to exist within you. And if self-doubt could speak to you and tell you what it's most afraid of, what would it say? And I want you to validate those fears. Bringing that sense of groundedness, your feet in the earth, your strong power stance on board, and acknowledging the fears that the part of you that has self-doubt has. Holding them. And then I want you to bend over and bury them into the earth beneath you, these little seeds of doubt. And pluck them out of yourself. We say, no, thank you. I don't need these here to protect me anymore. Instead, I'm going to give them to the earth. Placing each of them into the earth. Maybe tapping your feet over the top to seal them in. And then stepping back into that space that you were standing before. Just noticing how it feels to be in your body right now. Sending a wave of attention from the base of your feet all the way up your legs, all the way up your torso, up your arms, into your head and out the crown. Noticing how solid you feel to be standing on that earth. Breathing deeply. All parts of you existing, teaching you and growing. Taking a few more deep breaths in and out. And I'm just going to invite you to squeeze your hands, squeeze your fingers into your palms a few times just to bring sensation back in. Give your wrists a little wiggle and a spin. Move your body a little bit more. And and come back into this space here with me. We're going to jump into the next pillar of aligned action and embodiment. So what does taking aligned action actually mean? Because I feel like we see alignment so often and aligned action, like what actually does that mean? For me, in this space, in the confidence protocol, I'm going to say that it means taking small steps towards living in alignment with your values. It's all about building a sense of integrity and accomplishment. And integrity is really like that sense of I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. I do the things that I say that I'm going to do. And by doing that, this contributes to self-agency and self-trust. And things that we can do when we do choose to take that aligned action, remember that you're collecting data. So knowing that if this thing that we try, if we try this thing and it doesn't work, that is not a failure, you're just collecting data. We're collecting information, what works, what doesn't work. And please make sure that you celebrate the small wins. And the small wins can be as simple as, I took action on this thing today, or I ticked this thing off my list today that I've been putting off for a week. But really allowing yourself a moment to celebrate, to dance around or high five yourself or smile at yourself or just say, I'm proud of you. It's really important to celebrate your small wins as well as your big wins, because it's all about the journey. Consistently showing up for yourself and following through with self-promises will get easier over time as you strengthen that muscle. So add this to your journal prompt list. What one small action can I take today that aligns with my values and goals? So what very, very small action is going to be really in alignment? What can I look at and take? And it doesn't have to be small, to be honest with you. But if we're going from not taking any aligned action at all and we're moving into, okay, I'm starting to do this, I think it's always better to start small and build your way up, because otherwise you're not going to actually be able to go through the full process of healing this sense of self-agency and self-trust that you need to build true and authentic confidence. So write that down. Pause this for a minute if you want to explore that small action. Maybe you could do it right now, and I'll see you in a minute. So when aligned action feels scary, edgy, or uncomfortable, this is a good thing. Growth and change are actually just on the other side of this kind of discomfort. So if you have something in mind that you know is like, I need to do this, I know this is aligned action, I know that this is in alignment to my goals, but it's like I'm at my shitting my pants kind of frequency. Like, this is scary to me. This is like, I know this is going to move the needle in the direction that I need it to go, but I am so afraid to do this thing. It's making me feel uncomfortable or afraid or scared. Know that facing your fears and stepping into this side of yourself is where growth and change occurs. So it's actually kind of exciting. So what I encourage you to do to start this process of taking aligned action is to actually do a little bit of a process. So you can work with it somatically by first grounding into your sense of presence and bringing body awareness in. So connecting into your center, taking a few deep breaths, maybe one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, connecting to your resourced state, the state where you feel actually quite calm and connected to your sense of self, to your higher self, to your God, whatever it is that makes you feel grounded. Then do the thing. Take the aligned action from that state. And then once you've done the thing, this is actually the really important thing. Once you've done the thing, you need to regulate again. So this is teaching your body that you can have the capacity to hold this. Because once you've done the thing, your nervous system may be heightened, or you might be in just a different state once again than you were originally. So it's really important that you move, go for a walk, do some breath, like put on some music and dance, and really transmute and integrate any excess energy after you've taken that aligned action. So this closes the loop of emotional energy in your body so that it doesn't keep circulating, get stuck or stored within. And celebrate yourself once again. So what is embodiment? This term totally gets thrown around so much at the moment, and this is my definition of embodiment. Obviously you can have your own one, but I want to speak into this because I think that an embodied person is someone who is a confident person, and we're here in the confidence protocol. So embodiment is the connection between the body and the mind, and confidence is when you trust your body to show you the way. It's letting the signals of the body direct you to your truth. It's letting the signals of the body show you where your boundaries are, where your yeses are, where your nos are. An embodied person is somebody who deeply trusts themselves. They feel their feelings, they speak their truth, they take up space, and they sparkle in the essence of their own unique energy. And a disembodied person will feel disconnected from their truth, their emotions, and their direction for life. Their disembodiment is probably a result of trauma or of an unregulated emotional state, which for me, essentially, I believe to be trauma. So please be really, really kind and gentle with yourself. If you're feeling in this disembodied state, know that once again, it's a state. So we move through moments in life where sometimes we're feeling deeply embodied and sometimes we'll be disembodied, because this is our humanness. This is our truth. Like, we are living life in these human bodies, and we are not going to be deeply, deeply connected to them all the time. So give yourself a little grace, give yourself a little compassion for those disembodied moments. Do the practice that I just talked about in the last slide, ground in, take action, then move through it. And you're going to start to increase your capacity. Increase your capacity for embodiment, increase your capacity for confidence, for taking action, all of the good, delicious, and juicy things. So becoming the embodied version of you is going to be when you become the most confident, magnetic, aligned version of you. This is where we roll all of the pillars from this protocol into one beautiful space. Self-awareness and authenticity paired with emotional resilience and groundedness then creates the perfect foundation to take aligned action to live an embodied life and a confident life. So my personal tips that I use for embodiment are mindfulness and meditation, intentional movement, paying attention to the signals of your body, honoring your commitments to yourself, journaling and self-accountability, self-compassion and self-acceptance, mirror work, somatic therapy, stretching your comfort zone, speaking your truth, setting and honoring your boundaries. There's so much more that you could do here, but this is like, let's start small. Let's start like, these aren't actually not all small either, but like, let's start with something. So actually, I'm just going to go back to that page. You can take a photo, take a screenshot, make a note of anything here that you're not doing or anything here that you're interested in. And if you've got any questions, send me a message, drop a comment. I want to hear from you about how you're going to connect more into your sense of embodiment by using these little practices. And then we're going to drop into the very last part of this confidence protocol segment. This is going to be a somatic healing experience to connect to your most aligned embodied self. So once again, I'm going to invite you to get comfy. Maybe you're going to stay sitting in your chair, or you can lie down and start to close down your eyes. And we're going to start off by doing some box breathing. So we're going to breathe into the count of 4, hold to the count of 4, out for 4, and hold for 4. So exhaling with me now and starting to breathe in through the nose, 3, 4, hold, 4, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold, and start to resume your normal breath. And really connecting into your noticing. Starting to place your attention and your awareness into your heart space. Almost like you're dropping out the back of your head and slowly shifting your attention down your neck, down, further, further, into your chest cavity, right below, behind the center of your breastbone. Maybe placing one hand over your heart space. Noticing what it feels like. To be living in awareness. Of this space. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat pulse against your hand. Notice the color that sits in your heart space. Let that radiant light glow a little brighter. Let it expand a little bit more. Just enough that feels really comfortable for you. Letting yourself feel held. Letting yourself feel safe. Letting yourself feel love. And just imagining that your awareness has shrunk down to a tiny little size and you're living there inside your heart space. And in the center of your heart space, there's a little tiny beautiful door. You start to walk towards this door. Notice the color of it, shape of the handle. Notice how you know deeply down inside that what's on the other side of this door is going to be good, is going to feel good. Walking towards this door, and you reach the door, placing one hand on the handle, turning the handle and walking inside. You're met with this beautiful healing room, the space that makes you feel really comfortable. You can decorate this space however you want, with whatever colors you want. Lavish couches or greenery, or a big comfortable bed. Just fully moving into this space, feeling grounded and centered and warm and welcomed. And on the other side of this space, there is a beautiful archway. It's a portal to another version of self, a version of self that already lives inside of you, that just has layers and layers and layers of conditioning and experiences and childhood and fears and societal conditioning, all on top of you. But on the other side of this portal, you have access to your most aligned, most confident, authentic, embodied self. And so you're going to get up and start to move towards this portal. You might notice that there are parts of you that don't want you to move to this portal. But you can let them know that it's okay. This is a temporary experience. You're always going to be able to hear them and acknowledge them. But you're going to start to walk closer and closer to this beautiful portal, this opening that once you step through, you're going to connect with and embody your most confident, aligned version of you. So standing in front of this portal, and you can feel it pulling you in, you can feel it whispering to you, you can feel its loving energy. The truth of your soul waits on the other side. And as you step through the portal, all of your protective mechanisms, all of the parts of you that have been centered around fear and worry and pain just melt away. They all just melt away. And as you move into this space, you can feel truly connected to your soul essence, your true self. You might be standing a little bit differently. You might be breathing deeper. You might be sitting up a little bit straighter. Truly connected to your heart. I'm going to invite you just to connect to that radiant energy of your aligned, embodied self. The self that is confident, that is courageous, that is calm, that is curious. The self that is compassionate, who is creative. The self that has clarity and feels deeply connected to herself, to the world around her. Just letting that land in your body, how all that feels. Staying in presence with it, holding it in your heart space, in your body, wherever it's landed for you. Letting any thoughts or fears come up and just letting them wash away, be pulled away by the other side of that portal. And walking up to a mirror on the other side of the room and looking at yourself in the mirror. Noticing the energy that radiates from this version of you. Noticing how she walks, how she holds herself, how she carries herself. Noticing the clothing that she's wearing, how she has her hair. Noticing her energy, her aura. And then looking up at your face and looking deeply into her eyes, noticing that they are your eyes. She is you, and you are her. She already exists inside of you. You have held that energy, you have held that essence. This is your truth, this is your essence, this is a way of being. And as you're looking at her in her eyes and she's looking back at you and you smile at each other, she leans in and whispers to you a message of love, of encouragement. You take that message and you receive it into your heart, holding it there. You look at her with thanks. And you start to say goodbye, turning to walk away and turning to walk back towards the portal into the healing space. Now this portal here, it is not going to give you back all of the layers of fear that it washed off you originally. This portal here is just going to bring you from point A back into point B safely. So you step through this portal and land on the other side. The same person, the confident person, the aligned and embodied version of you. She exists in this space too. And knowing that as you move through your days, fears and worries and little thoughts, little critical thoughts might come up, but you have the capacity to witness and hold them and hear them out because of that beautiful message that your most confident, authentic and aligned version of you just delivered you and lives in your heart. You start to move towards the door, opening the door and stepping back into your body, back into this space, into this room with me. Deepening your breath, letting yourself land back in your body. Feel supported by the chair beneath you. Just feeling completely lit up by that magical experience, by that energy. Maybe rubbing your hands together, creating some warmth, creating some friction, and just placing them to the place in your body that wants to receive this love the most. Receiving that warmth, that connection. Giving your arms and your shoulders a bit of a squeeze. Maybe placing your feet on the floor. And starting to open up your eyes again. And I really encourage you to journal about this experience, journal about what you felt, what fears you thought of, what things came up for you. There is no right or wrong way to have this kind of experience. So it's all, if you remain curious, you're going to learn so much about yourself. And learning things about yourself is what confidence is all about. Like I said, it is all data, baby. It is all data. So thank you so freaking much for watching the Confidence Protocol. I hope you got something out of it. Please send me a comment. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about your experiences, what you learned, what you thought I could add to it, anything I love and appreciate your feedback because it's all data. It's all data. So make sure that you make time for integration, get time out in nature, in the sunlight, grounding, be gentle to yourself, and once again, take aligned action. And you can find me here at gem.w155@gmail.com to send me any questions, any comments, or on Instagram. So amazing work today. So cool to connect with you. And I trust that you will create a beautiful evening. Thanks. Bye.